Hi there, and welcome back to the Coaching Support Summit. This summit is all about giving people tools to help us through these crazy times. And we've covered a lot of different things to date about mindset. We've had social media, even some business tools thrown in. And this morning we are going to nutrition. And who better to tell us about how to supercharge our health than the Queen of Health herself? Good morning, Nichola.
Hi, how are you?
That's great to have you here. Nichola, what I like about what you say is your first line of defense is to choose a healthy lifestyle. Can you talk us a bit through this, please, Nichola?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think what people are challenged with at the moment is that particular line around our health and our lifestyle. Like survival instinct has kicked in with everybody over the last 2 weeks. And when I'm checking in with clients, what I'm hearing is, Nichola, help me. All I want is carbohydrates. I want the sugary food. And that is really, it's okay, I'm telling people, because it's natural instinct for us to do that. Because when we look at everything that's happened, all our normality, all our routines and structures have been taken away from us. And what I'm looking at it is that, say, for the last 2 weeks, I've even felt as if it's been like I'm on holidays, whether it feels like Christmas or that summer holiday without the sunshine. And little things, are starting to creep in. But what I'm telling people, and my clients especially, is now is the time. Those 2 weeks gone, now we need to get back into structure. We need to look after our health, because when our diet is as clean as possible, 80-20% rule, our mental health is even better as well, our focus, and it gives us some structure.
Well, I like that because you are giving us that 20%, which thank you for that.
Yes,
Because,
yes.
when you're making dinners for children, and
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I feel like it's a 24-hour restaurant I'm running here at the moment.
Yes, yes.
And it's quite easy sometimes just to be, picking away at what you're making for the kids and that. And
Absolutely.
they're not always the healthy choices. But yeah, we are doing our best, I think, as we said earlier,
Yeah. And
driving to.
absolutely, because a lot of my clients as well are women, and they're like, going, Nichola, I feel like a glass of wine every single day. And I'm kind of going, well, don't put in new habits, keep your habits. So is it Monday to Friday then was that really good structure, and that Saturday and Sunday was time to sit down and relax. And I think like every day feels the same, but if there is a little bit of structure around health and nutrition, well, then we can then come into the weekend and enjoy and relax and use that 20% then just to have a little treat.
Okay, so you're not allowing us 20% each day. The 20% is to kick in at the weekend.
Well, well, as much. But listen, it's everything in moderation and no restrictions, because we're not on a diet here. We're really like the first thing that I would kind of give a hint and tip is to stay hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody knows we should be drinking 2 liters of water a day, and it can be quite hard with the cups of coffee and the cups of tea. But what I do say to people is, first thing in the morning, if you wake up, we're naturally in a dehydrated state when we wake up in the morning. And if we have a glass of water beside the bed, before we kind of get ready and move, if we have that glass of water drank, then it's the first start. That's a little, hint that you can kind of do straight away, and you're really supercharging then the rest of the day, basically. So, the first one is definitely hydrate.
Great. And what is it about not allowing the water that's in the tea to be counted? I never get that.
Yeah, so with the water that's in the tea, because there's caffeine in it, the caffeine will naturally dehydrate the body.
Okay.
So I would push, anyone that knows me knows that I have my Funky Five smoothies, and I'd push for cucumbers, celery, all those kind of
Mm,
things in there to get your water through your food as well.
mm.
Herbal teas are fine. For those that struggle with water, I get a herbal tea bag, and I just get a jug of cold water and diffuse the tea bag in there, so it becomes like a healthy Ribena throughout the day. So
I like that.
yeah, it's a little, an easy one, and even the kids will love it.
So which ones would you find that works with the children?
So I like, say, the berry teas.
Okay.
Yeah, the berry kind of really goes down
Right.
well. Yeah.
That's a great idea, so that you're diffusing the tea bag in the cold water. So as you say, it becomes a healthy Ribena. So you're giving them berries, but it's
Yeah, and if they don't know, you can kind of just say, here's a new drink. They don't know it's herbal teas, and then they're getting all the benefits, and they're hydrated as well. Because especially, I know we're trying to look after ourselves too, but it's the kids as well, trying to give them a little bit of nutrition too.
I love that.
Yeah, simple but effective.
Love to hear more.
Yeah. So that's the hydration part. The other part that I would say is blood sugars. And it's a big one that I would focus on clients first of all. And I'd say a lot of people's blood sugars now, since what has happened, are elevated and dropping. And when we're in that state, we will crave more of the wrong foods. This is where weight gain can happen if that's, people are worried about that. But if we can control it, and I'll give hints and tips how to do that, but then we're onto a good structure. And that is a really big starting point. So will I let you know how to do that?
Yeah.
So the most simplest one is to have protein at every single meal.
Okay.
And people will kind of go, oh, well, how do I get protein at breakfast? Because we can get it at lunch through our, if we're not vegetarian, it's our chicken, our fish. If we're vegetarian, it's our pulses, our lentils, our tofu, and dinner the same. But breakfast, people kind of struggle and they go, okay, how do I get my protein in there? So if I'm having a bowl of porridge, I'll sprinkle some milled linseeds and chia seeds, and I'm getting good fats, but I'm also getting protein in there as well. And what the protein does when it's mixed with a carbohydrate, like your oats is your carbohydrate, it then just stops the blood sugars from elevating too much.
Right, so there's protein in chia and linseed.
There's a little bit of protein in there. Chia would have a really high level of protein as well as good fats. And I think everybody's on the chia seed buzz now. As well.
Yeah, I mean, I would make overnight oats. Now, not enough. I was better at them before all this. And I love an overnight oats, and I would always add chia seeds. I never looked at it as protein. I just did it because that's what the recipe I learned.
Yeah. You can also put peanut butter, nut butters in there as well. So you're getting your good fats and a little bit of protein too. For those that I love to put in some, say, vegan protein powder, because it just gives you a big hit of protein, but not everybody's into protein powders. And then my smoothies as well, I'll always put a scoop of vegan protein powder into those as well. And when you've got like your protein, carbohydrates and fats, it's going to keep you fuller for longer and keep those blood sugars balanced.
Right, that's a great one, thank you.
Yeah. So
actually, can I ask you about breakfast as well? Like, I mean, eggs are protein as well, aren't they?
Absolutely. So a great breakfast, and one of my favorites, is 2 eggs and a slice of wholemeal toast.
And what do you think about, sorry now for all this wonderful advice, you've been asking questions, but like too many eggs, what's your story on that?
Well, to me, 2 eggs a day, I find grand.
Okay.
We hear a lot of bad press about them, but if we're going excessive over 2 eggs, well, then I'd kind of say we don't need that amount. But some people like to have their 2 eggs every day, and their cholesterol levels are absolutely fine.
Yeah, and I have to say I'm one of those people. I love eggs. I love them as a breakfast, and I love to do different things with them, bake them, poach them, boil them, scramble them so that I don't get sick of them. But I just find like that. I'm a person, my blood sugars fluctuate an awful lot. I'm hungry all the time. I eat constantly. I'm always wondering when my next meal is coming. So I actually have to have protein for that reason.
Yeah. And when we look at that, then even with fruit, and people are really mesmerized by this, that if you're having a piece of fruit, that is seen as a carbohydrate. It's a good sugar, but it still converts to glucose and will raise the blood sugars. So you need to put protein with your fruit. Okay. So if I'm having an apple, I'll have some nuts with it or some peanut butter.
Yeah.
Other snacks for me, because what I like to do is I like to have a breakfast, and then within 3 hours, so if I have breakfast at 7, I'll have a snack at 10 o'clock. I'll eat within a 3-hour window just to make sure my blood sugars are balanced.
Can I ask you what you could put with, say, my teenager loves a bowl of fruit, and he loved to have pineapple, mango and watermelon.
Yeah.
How could I add protein to, now he doesn't get it every day. He loves the hotel thing, when you go to a hotel and you get all the fruit.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest as a protein to add to that kind of fruit?
Yeah, so Greek yogurt or natural yogurt is really nice. I don't know whether he likes that. But
he does. He likes Greek yogurt, actually.
Oh, amazing. So that's your protein in the Greek yogurt, and there's good fats in there as well. And then he's got his carbohydrate with his fruit, because, as I said, fruit, even for teenagers on its own, can elevate the bloods. And then what I'm even finding with my Hannah, if she has a lot of fruit without protein with it, her humours can kind of become worse, really. So because I have
that's very interesting. Now, most of the time, I don't think I ever give him yogurt with it. Now he'd eat yogurt, but Greek yogurt would be separately.
Yeah.
But I must get him into that habit.
Yeah.
Because you said that the sugar still converts into glucose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
very
like
interesting.
what I tend to kind of keep within our house is the berries. So the blueberries, the blackberries, strawberries, because they would have a lower glycemic load.
Right.
Where, say, pineapple, mango, melon would be kind of high in sugars.
Okay. That's why he likes them so.
Yeah, and it is. It's a natural thing. And, you know, kids and teenagers are a little bit different. They're growing. They need a lot of calories.
That's why it's like a 24-hour day restaurant with serving dinners nearly every 3 hours.
Yeah. What's next? Oh, and so,
great.
But yeah, that's definitely have the protein at every single meal, and especially with your snacks. And then eating every 3 hours. So, you know, you're like me, Dolores. I think I'll eat my breakfast and I'm thinking, what's my next meal going to be? I love my food. But when I know that I have that 3 hours and I know there's a snack coming, it just keeps me sane. It keeps me going. But I even find with the protein and the fats and fiber in the foods that we eat, it keeps you fuller for longer.
Love that. Thank you. That's great advice. That's great. I mean, the obvious ones were the protein, because I mean, I would look at my protein intake if I always had to, but I didn't look at it as in with snacks and fruit. So that's a huge one for me to make changes now for my children as well.
Yeah, and it's an easy one. So like the hydration is an easy one.
Yeah.
The protein now is an easy one as well. And then the other one to look at too is they've changed the portion of fruit and veggies to 9 a day now, believe it or not. So it's what I would say with my clients is make sure that you're getting 7 portions of veggies a day and 2 portions of fruit. So it's like, okay, how do I do that? So if you look at the dinner plate, a quarter of the plate should be your protein, a quarter then should be the carbohydrate, and the other half of the plate then should be your salad or your veggies and maybe a little bit of fruit in there. And then like 9 times out of 10 we're not doing that.
No, I'm definitely not doing that with my veggies anyway. I would be more on the side of fruit, and even sometimes at night if I think, oh my god, the kids haven't had much, especially my 11-year-old wouldn't have had much anything today, vegetable wise, I will go for an apple or give him 2 apples maybe chopped up. So I do definitely go towards, I must remember that I should maybe do a carrot instead.
And it's a great snack as well as carrot and some hummus. The kids like that as well.
I have a fussy 11-year-old, but the carrot I can definitely get him to eat.
Yeah, exactly. So so they're just some little kind of hints and tips of really how at this time we can start to supercharge our own health, and keeping our immune system supported at this time is really important as well.
And you mentioned as well in your bio to me that, you know, it's all about our gut health and about our immunity. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and why it is our gut that we have to look after so much?
Well, like gut health is so on trend at the moment and everybody's talking about it, but it's the microbiome that's in our gut that really keeps us functioning. And they call the gut the second brain. People, you know, when you hear, oh my God, I had a gut instinct to do that. It's literally, there's a big connection there. And even recently I was at the dentist and we were talking and he started to talk about probiotics for the teeth. And I was like, oh, no, that's something that I would never have thought of, because he was saying, well, listen, the gut starts from the mouth and goes all the way down. And for your teeth health, your dental health, you should be taking a probiotic as well.
Right. Wow.
So with like the likes of, say, your live yogurts and all those are really important. But for me with clients, if they haven't had any replacement of good bacteria, I would always suggest a probiotic for them, maybe for a course of 1 to 2 months. You can take it all year round. It's no problem at all. But just any diseases that happen within the body tend to come from the gut, because if the bacteria is out of balance, that's when things can start to go wrong for us. When we start to take a probiotic, we can start to feel that our energy is elevated, that our mood is elevated as well. So all those is related to the gut health.
And would you have any recommendation? And actually, I suppose this is twofold. Is there any way we can get these probiotics in our food anyway?
Yeah.
Oh, you said live yogurts. Yeah. I mean, is there other things as well? If, you know, I'm sure I don't really like, dairy doesn't really agree with me. So I try to keep away from dairy. Is there an alternative for me?
So then we'd be looking at fermented foods, sauerkraut and kimchi and all those type of
kimchi.
Kimchi. Yeah, so it's for those, again, it's there's a little bit of dairy in there, so it won't suit you. But the likes of sauerkraut and, you know, fermenting foods, and there's a lot of people online that are doing free courses to show you how to ferment foods, because a lot of people will go for, you know, the little drinks.
Yes.
And they can have a lot of sugars in there. And I'll tell clients that, you know, one of those, you'd probably need 10 of those a day to get what one probiotic tablet is actually.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
Yeah. And with, you know, a lot of us will take a probiotic after we've had an antibiotic, because we think antibiotic, good bacteria is gone. But we should be just topping up that good bacteria really like a tonic probably every 2 to 3 months, which we don't think of.
No, and that's one thing I definitely will definitely hold up my hand and fall down on. I don't actually think I don't take a probiotic tablet at the moment, nor do I. I must go on and look for some fermented.
Yeah, just even from getting it naturally into the food first of all, and then, you know, maybe I would suggest then is just take a course maybe of 1 to 2 months, and then you know, introduce the foods then too, just to top up.
That's true. Yeah. Great, Nichola. Have you any more tips and tricks for us this morning?
Well, definitely. No, I think I've given enough there for people to try. Is the water first thing in the morning, and then a glass every hour on the hour, to hydrate the body, because that's really going to keep us going. The protein at every single meal, including the snacks, and eating every 3 hours is key.
Great. And Nichola, can you tell us where we can find you? Do you have a group, Facebook group you want to give a shout out to, or anything if people want to find out more about what you do?
So a few different places people can find me. So I'm the Queen of Health across all platforms. I have a lovely community, which we're doing a lot of mindfulness and hints and tips of health over the coming weeks. And that is just my private group, the Queen of Health. And there's a link on my business page on Facebook to that. And on the 6th of April, I'm going to be doing a Supercharge Your Health free webinar that people can sign up to, and that's all linked in my Facebook group.
Right. If you want to, I get that link from you, and I'll put it under the replay of this, because that sounds great. I think Supercharging Our Health sounds great, but I will also put a link to your Facebook group so that people can join as well.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be getting, and I think it's wonderful that you don't just you look at a holistic approach, almost, for want of a better word. It's not just about, well, you know, it's just food. It's also about the mental health, and I know how intertwined they are, but it's just, I suppose you're not selling this as just, you just have to do that. It's lovely that it's a complete package, because that's what's going to bring about the ultimate, what am I trying to say? Optimum health.
Yeah, it is. Well, for me, it's mind, body and movement, and it's like a jigsaw. And if one of those elements is out of the jigsaw, it's not the perfect picture. So
fantastic. Nichola, thank you so much for joining us on the summit. It's wonderful to bring the conversation in about lifestyle, because I think really, I know that's the one area that a lot of us would struggle with at the moment, and it's good to get advice that is not mind-blowingly hard to do. You've given us things to do, a list today for us to start with, and then we can go on and we can jump on your supercharging class on the 6th and go for more from there.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much, Nichola.
Thank you.